I'm a trained opera singer, wrote Sarah L. E. Mesh, a Times reader who lives in San Francisco, and even though I no longer sing full-time, I'm proud that I've sung all over the world with some of the most famous musicians of the 21st century. We often use the Reader Center Facebook community, a private group we started in January, to talk to some of our dedicated Times readers about the news and our coverage of it. But this week we tried something different. The discussion took off immediately, and some of our journalists in the group jumped in as well. The responses inspired us, touched us, made us laugh. We'd like to share some responses here and invite you, our larger group of readers, to join the conversation. What's something in your life you're incredibly proud of? Large or small, all that matters is that it's something important to you. Please share your accomplishment in the comments. The responses below have been lightly edited for clarity. Terrence Hurley, San Francisco, last fall my wife and I walked every step of the Camino de Santiago, a 500-mile pilgrimage from France to the Santiago de Compostela in Spain, where it is believed the bones of St. James the Apostle are held. We did it in 30 days, me at the age of 63. It was an incredible experience. Shasta Gayan, Escondido, California, I'm proudest that I am an anthropologist. I decided I wanted a PhD in anthropology when I was a young teen, and I did it, although I didn't finally finish and defend my dissertation until I was 39. It's definitely my proudest personal accomplishment. From a professional standpoint, about a year and a half ago I was instrumental in stopping the construction of a landfill right next to the Indian reservation where I work. The tribe had been fighting it for 30 years. It would not only have put wildlife and water in danger, it was right next to a river that, while dry most of the year, had underground streams that supply drinking water to several communities, but it would have piled garbage 2/3 of the way up the side of a sacred mountain that is one of the homes of a traditional ancestral spirit. The day we announced publicly that the tribe was able to buy the land and save the sacred mountain was one of the proudest of my life. John Schwartz, reporter at the New York Times, I can play the William Tell Overture on my teeth. I cover climate change for the NYT. This skill is not relevant to the beat, but it's still something I'm proud of. Lexi Rindon, Baltimore, kind of random, but I was the world sport stacking, aka cup stacking, champion in 2006. I had the privilege of stacking on a couple national morning shows in NYC, and it was an amazing experience. I do not stack very often anymore. However, I occasionally get my cups out and practice some stacking when time permits. 9 Fadi Boukaram, Beirut, Lebanon. 2 years ago I quit my job as a U.S. tax law consultant in Beirut, threw my 2 master's degrees down the drain, flew to the U.S. and went on a 6-month RV road trip across the country, photographing the 40-plus towns there called Lebanon. I'm going back for round 2 in June, this time distributing cedar trees, Cedar of Lebanon, to these towns as a gesture of goodwill. Not comfortable bragging, but since you asked, because of this trip, I got on NPR 4 times, public radio in Quebec and Ireland, got a feature story on CNN and in Foreign Policy magazine and a TV interview in Nashville. The reason I'm proud of this is because, after 15 years of working in a field that I wasn't crazy about, I took a chance and it went all right. Leela Moore, audience writer and comment moderator at the New York Times, my proudest accomplishment is running the Boston Marathon last April while 5 months pregnant. Wasn't my fastest time but a really great experience. And now my son has my bib framed over his changing table. Pedro Duarte, Brasilia, Brazil. This post is really cool, lots of interesting stories here. Running a marathon while pregnant? Amazing, my pride concerns having written a novel. I know it's not necessarily that much of a feat, books can be either good or bad, and I still haven't had any validating response from publishers, but for me it is more like an existential thing, as I feel I had never taken up such long-term, focused work before. Gerald Miller, Reno, Nevada. Last October, my business partner and I put on the Reno Mural Expo. We invited 30 dynamic artists, including 2 international, 12 national, and 16 local, to paint walls on businesses and alleys around downtown Reno, NEV. We now have a beautiful outdoor gallery and put on the largest public art event in northern Nevada. Here's one of my faves. Deb Amlin, editor at the New York Times, proud of the young adults my children have become, but also getting back on my feet after getting divorced. At the time, I was a stay-at-home mom with no independent income, and I had to learn in midlife to take care of myself and my kids financially. 7 years later, I am financially stable and am grateful to work for a terrific company as the crossword columnist and editor of Wordplay. Julia Lansford, Queens, NY, getting published in NYT. I'm not a native English speaker, but I strive to write well. Writing is my passion in life. When I saw my little piece published last year, I was very excited, and yes, proud. David Heim, Chesapeake, Virginia. I served my country for 24 years and I was the senior naval officer in country in Somalia as a lieutenant commander. I coordinated the military sea lift to get all the U.S. troops out of country after the Black Hawk Down debacle. Lily Jane Clark, Swan Valley, Mont, my Fulbright scholarship to study mushrooms in Nepal. Nick Kelton, Gainesville, FLA. After many internships and a lot studying, I got a full-time offer to work for SpaceX as a propulsion engineer a couple weeks ago. Can't wait to get started in April. Your turn now. Please tell us in the comments what you're most proud of.